Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gents. Welcome to the latest episode of the Jibber Jabber podcast. Before I go ahead and play this recent recording of our latest episode, I thought I would give you guys a little nugget, a golden nugget of a gem. So Jordan and I, every day we talk, and instead of typing to each other, sometimes we'll just send each other little voice clips. And recently Jordan had restructured his man cave and where we do our podcast recording sessions. So he'd gone through the whole rigmarole of setting up microphones and making sure that it all works, and done a stellar job, and then it stopped working, and I received this voice clip that I just think's amazing, and I need to share it with you guys because it's funny. I was pissing myself, and I know you guys will too, and I know you guys love the grumpy old bastard that he can be, so I thought I would share this before we kickstart this latest episode, so enjoy.
In saying that, fuck knows what's happened, but all my sound levels have all went to fuck. So I'm going to do a master reset on my computer. This is fucking nonsense, man. How hard is it to get something in fucking 2019 just to fucking work? Just work. Not just once. Just keep on fucking working. This is fucking murder, man. It's like a cunt that's been on the dole for 10 years, works alright for a day, and then's a fucking cunt after it.
Run! Go! Get to the Jibber Jabber! Hey Valerie! It's on Apple Podcasts and Podomatic! Freaking awesome!
Coming in your ears right now is the Jibber Jabber podcast and your weekly dosage of it. Yes. Thank you for choosing to return to the Jibber Jabber podcast, where you can hear great things such as and other stuff when we talk. With all the greatest intros that you'll ever find.
And because of that, this week we are sponsored by fucking nobody.
Oh no, the Tascam. They'll be hearing it for you anyway. They'll be hearing it for you. For anybody at home that can't see this, even you guys that can see this, we just dropped the other audio recorder, which is our backup in case this all goes to shit, which it does all the time. It fell, so if you're listening to it on that's what that fucking migraine was.
Such a professional outfit we are. Couldn't even get a stand for it.
I gave you a stand, mate. You lost
But
it.
it's upstairs.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I gave you a stand.
So yeah, we've got a lot of stuff to cover this week. And I was going to say it's been a long time since we've done this, but it's not. We're actually quite on the ball right now.
Fucking right, I told you we were going to be. We did say this in previous episodes, like, here, we're going to be on the ball. So if we're on the ball doing it, you should definitely be on the ball by downloading it every week and listening to it and all that. Remember, we're on Spotify. We are on Apple Podcasts. We used to be on Podomatic. We're also on Podbean. Make sure to subscribe as much as you can.
Podbean is our primary platform, so please.
Primary.
It's a primary platform.
Please do it. Just do it.
A primary platform.
No.
What?
Ross.
Come on.
Inside joke.
Right, so yeah, our primary platform, fucking hell, primary platform is Podbean, so we'd prefer that you use that because it's the only one we can actually read the stats from. And Kev's still laughing.
That mask!
Again.
Put a wee wig on top of that.
It's another inside joke.
Sorry, but it's too good.
This is a disaster. But you know, we're not editing it. We're not editing it out because we know you guys like it when we fuck things up.
Ron Natural.
Jesus. So,
what does it say, right? When someone styles themselves so badly that they make Halloween masks that look like you. That look like you.
Actually, to be fair,
I can't breathe.
I literally
can't
can't.
breathe.
Oh,
what?
Oh God.
It hurts.
Oh mate, if we were getting paid for this, we'd get fucking fired.
We'd be at the door.
With that wee box with a plant in it. See you later.
You drop on the way out.
You get stuck in the revolving door.
It's like, fuck it, it's just a plant. Oh, sorry, but this sometimes you just gotta let that shit out, right? You just gotta let that shit out.
So, oh God, you've no idea how much it hurts me to laugh just now. Have I told you what happened to me, Kevin?
Hurts.
Oh, does it? Does it? I'm the one with fucked ribs.
No, stop it, stop it.
This is a disgrace. Oh, man.
Do you know what they say?
Oh.
Don't try and explain what's funny because then it loses how funny it is. And we do apologise for that.
I tripped over a dog.
He fell over a dog, broke his ribs, and now he can't laugh anymore. And we're laughing so hard at just such an inside joke, and we do apologise that for 4 minutes we've just been howling at something you guys don't get, but that's...
I'll go and wish.
Oh no!
Oh, shit, right, enough of that nonsense. We have a lot of shit to cover today and we don't have all the time in the world, so
right, you're right.
we've got quite a few things to cover. Like I just said 3 seconds ago. Holy shit, this is awful. Oh, you guys will like it. Anyway, first thing, somebody died.
Tell us who died.
Franco Colombo. I keep saying Colombo.
Colombo.
It's
Oh, you fucker! Did I just do that? Did I just do that?
No. A lot of you guys might be wondering who Franco Colombo is. He's actually Arnold Schwarzenegger's best friend.
Was.
Yeah, he was. He died at the age of 79, and not even from natural causes. He drowned, which is, imagine a horrible way to go. Man, I'm not laughing.
No, dude. I'm just thinking this is the worst way to announce someone's death after a fits of laughter. You're like, and moving on, someone died.
God. Oh, this is possibly the worst show we've ever done.
That's fine.
But it's still going out. Fuck it. So yeah, Franco Colombo died. Look him up if you've never heard of him. The
Just
guy.
Google Arnie's best pal.
Yeah, there was a guy. He's a guy who was he was a bodybuilder back in the heyday with Arnold Schwarzenegger. They two were training partners. When Schwarzenegger moved to America, he asked Joe Weider, who ran Gold's Gym. He asked him to bring Colombo over to train with him. What the fuck are you laughing at? And to make him feel more at home, basically. And he did. And they've been best friends for like 54 years. So it's a big loss for him. He wrote a nice note to him on Facebook with some old photos of them. They're worth a look. We put them on the... I'm so sore. We put them on the Jibber Jabber community page. And you can check them out there. So rest in peace, Franco. Oh, god damn, that hurts.
Yeah, rest in peace, Franco. I just found out who you were like 2 days ago when you died.
Right, so moving on to the real kind of movie stuff. The first thing you wanted to talk about was Spider-Man leaving the
Yes.
MCU. Now, I'm going to obviously let you take the lead on this one because I could not give half a shit.
That's true. You don't really like the superhero kind of movies, which is fine. I'm getting
Iron Man poster.
I'm getting quite fed up with the movies. However, the Spider-Man movies have always been quite cool. I'm not that bothered. See if Spider-Man isn't in the MCU, I don't care because I'm not going to watch every MCU movie anyway. But what interests me about this is the dynamic and the deal between Sony and Disney. So Disney are like making money through Spider-Man movies, and the Sony are getting all the merchandise money and their fair whack of what's made from the movies. Now Disney are like, well, we're making Spider-Man relevant again, so we want a bigger cut. And Sony are like, nah. So they've decided to part ways. So I don't know. I don't think it's that big a deal. What do you think?
it's obviously a big deal to somebody because I've seen numerous articles about it popping up on my Google News feed. Like I said, I don't care. I'm completely fucking. I'm drained. I'm drained from the number of superhero films that are getting made now.
See, the thing is, like, Spider-Man's their top selling IP. Their highest selling.
Right.
More than anything else.
Oh,
So Sony won't sell the rights to Spider-Man. They only lease it to Disney. That's why we saw Tom Holland take on the role of Spider-Man in the latest movies.
right.
And because of that, Sony's still keeping a hold. They're still keeping hold. So I think the next logical thing to do is Disney just needs to buy Sony, just for Spider-Man.
They probably will as well. It's a sad part of it.
A Disney PlayStation. Imagine that.
Disney Compute. Funnily enough.
Disney
Yeah.
pretty much owns everything.
Yeah. I'm actually wondering if I need to return this.
You know,
They fucking own everything.
Disney bought Fox, and all aside, all apart from the sports side, they bought everything bar the Fox Sports. And you know, I don't know if they've done that just so they could get the X-Men rights,
Right.
because X-Men are Marvel, and so I have to cough because I laughed so hard. Disney are obviously Marvel, and X-Men are Marvel, but they were always licensed to Marvel from Fox because it was an IP sold, just like what Spider-Man was from way back in the heyday. They sold different intellectual properties when they had to. Now obviously they make more money, you know, where they are at currently, and with the resurgence of the superhero movies, you know, now's the best time to have it. So I don't know if maybe they would have just bought Fox just to get the X-Men, because the new movies that they're going to be making, that Disney now can get their finger into. You never know, right?
I'd just like to see some more originality now.
Well-
I've said this a million times on previous podcasts. There's no point in going over and over and over it again. But I think that we need some new ideas, and there's no point in putting new ideas into stuff that's already been done, because you're just kind of putting a plaster on an open fucking skull. You need to come up with some new stuff. Don't just add little details to the stuff that's already around. Let's get some more original shit out there. So I don't really have much to add on that. This is your thing.
Well, what's going to happen is going to happen. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I don't think it's set in stone that they'll never have Spider-Man in the MCU anymore. But one thing I will say on the superhero front, moving towards originality, is how good is the TV show The Boys you can find on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I'm actually only 1 or 2 episodes in. I was in two minds about whether or not to even put it on, because my
Superheroes.
because of my whole thing. But this is what I was just saying a minute ago. That's something original. This is it. It was kind of, when it first came on, I thought it was kind of more along the lines of The Watchmen. It's got that kind of feel about it, but again, it's very different.
Mate, I've watched the full season, and wow.
Yeah, it's got a very good rating on IMDb as well. I think it's 8 point something. Pretty damn good.
What I love about it is very original. The character development as well, and the characters in it, really, really good.
Yeah.
They're not just one-track characters. There's more to it.
Yeah, I quite like the young boy that was left holding his girlfriend's hands, and that's it. Literally just her hands. Yeah, I like him. What's his name again?
And
Can't remember his character's name.
I can't remember. It's funny that you don't remember the main character's name. My favourite character in that show is Homelander.
Homelander.
I mean, what a shit name, right? For a superhero. Homelander.
Yeah, he's basically Captain America.
He's Superman.
Like a cross. He's covered in the Star Spangled Banner. So he's basically American Superman.
But he's the most powerful of all of them. And holy shit. Do you know what? Right. This always goes back to something I've said again and again and again and again. A good show has to have a good bad guy in order for the good guy to even scratch the surface. Now, I've always said bad guys should kill kids. They should kill children. They should do bad things.
Yeah.
He is that. He is absolutely the bad guy I've been looking for.
Homelander is.
Yes.
I didn't even know who's the bad guy yet. 'Cause as far as I knew, he was squeaky clean.
Mate, he kills children.
Children?
Children. He kills babies. Children. Does not give a fuck. If it motivates him to get out of it what he wants, he'll kill anything. And that is what you see. I love how brutal it is, how gory it is, and how realistic it would be. If you're a superhero who's like, nah, didn't fancy being super, I fancy just doing things my way, and you don't ever have to answer to anyone because you could fucking blow up a city with just like the click of your fingers.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be Homelander.
Well, I'm going on a night shift tomorrow night, so I'll be staying up late tonight, so that could be something that I could delve a bit
Mate.
further into.
Mate, before we move on to this, right, so obviously you're what, 2 episodes in?
1 or 2, I can't remember.
Right, so we obviously know, and this is for anybody that's not seen the show before, I'm not going to put any spoilers out, right? But we know it's about superheroes that are not superheroes.
Yeah.
They're under a guise. The world thinks they're superheroes, but when you see what they're actually doing, what they get up to, you realise they're not superheroes. They're actually the anti-heroes, and what you need is something to combat that, which is obviously the boys, the group of guys that are human, that are like, we're fucking sick of these superhuman people destroying us for whatever reason, doing these horrible things to us. So obviously in the first episode, which you'll find, I can talk about it because it's in the very first episode, it's pretty much what starts the show. The Flash, pretty much, his name is A-Train, which is he's based off the Flash, runs clean through a bitch. Right? His splatters are open by accident, and that starts the show. Your main protagonist, his missus, has just been fucking ran through, so he's like, nah, fuck this shit.
Just be, well, I've heard the expression "run through" before, but it's normally in pirate films, like, "I'll run you through." I'm going to stab you. No, he fucking ran through her, like just straight out ran through her. She exploded into a billion bits.
Yes, and she died. So that's kind of sets the tone of like, oh well, these superheroes get away with what they want because they're superhuman, and who's going to stop them, right?
I like how I say, like, he runs into her and she kind of blows into a billion bits, and you had to add the detail that she died. It's like, I'd have fucking thought so, man. She was alright though, a couple of plasters.
Plasters, right? So actually dies right up. He runs through her, and then you're introduced to the rest of the superhero, the Magnificent Seven, the Seven, right? And there's a corporation behind it protecting these superheroes because it makes them money. They're a corporation. That's the basis of the show. But what I love about it is no holds barred, mate. There's no holds barred. This show is gory, and nobody's safe. No babies, nothing.
It's one of the major benefits to having a show commissioned by Netflix or Amazon is the fact that you don't have the same restrictions that you've got with just normal broadcast television. Like you look at the example I always think about is Sons of Anarchy, right? That show was pretty violent. There was some nasty stuff in there, right? But they still weren't allowed to say fuck. It's so stupid. It's like, right, I can literally watch a biker cut a guy's balls off, but I can't hear him say the word fuck. It's so silly.
It is. It's ridiculous. The one good thing about this show is it initially was a graphic novel series, just like The Walking Dead and many other things, right? But DC allowed it. It was a sister company to DC that came up with The Boys, and it's basically a parody of all DC characters. This is why The Flash, Superman, all these, the Wonder Woman, right? These are all based off these kind of characters. So DC were like, this is fine, and they commissioned the first couple issues, and then they were like, do you know what? Nah, it's too close to all our major properties.
Right.
We're not going to shut it down, but we want nothing to do with it. Take your department elsewhere.
That was nice of them that they actually let them keep on doing it. They obviously realised that it was a good
It was something there.
thing. It was a good idea, but
so
too close to their
right, exactly. So they said, you keep doing it, just not with us anymore. And that's when it continued. They went to another company. I can't remember the name of them. They went to another company and released all the issues. And then obviously Seth Rogen and the gang were like, we need to make this into a TV show. It says,
it's Seth Rogen.
Seth
Nope,
Rogen.
I had no idea.
Yep, he's one of the producers behind it.
What a professional am I?
So Seth Rogen and the gang, I think it's two brothers and Seth Rogen, brought it to to the big screen, to make it what it is now. And I cannot wait for the second season because the way it ends is great. Homelander's just a bastard, right? He's the absolute. He's got no weaknesses that we know of. He just. It's just very thought provoking, and what I like about it as well, it's not stupid. Oh, hear me roar! I'm a superhero. There's backstories. You know, there's reasons these guys are the way they are.
Yeah.
And so there's depth within the show.
One thing that I will give it credit for as well, just from the first episode, is the visuals. The effects in it are fucking sublime. It was right at the start when one of the superheroes basically comes in to stop a getaway driver from, I think it was like a security van they'd robbed or something, and she just stands in front of it and it caves in. Yeah. But you see it all coming around about her. Then it goes to inside the van and it just shows you her standing there still, and everything flying around her, and everything was just fucked. Yeah. And it was a really cool effect. And even when Homelander first comes, he lands, just grabs a guy and throws him up in the air, and you just kind of forget about him for a minute, and then you just see him in the background. It's like, hey.
Here my geared. Yeah.
It was kind of like a video that my mate sent me. I showed you earlier on. It's disgusting.
You know, see what's funny though. Like, see if she's that van that she stops.
Yeah.
You'd think what must be in that van? Drugs or something? Yeah. Bootlegs of their movies. They were selling bootlegs of the superhero movies that they were starring in, so it was affecting their revenue. You know,
that's a really funny thought. Imagine like if superheroes were real, would they just make superhero movies? That's a really funny thought.
Like a superhero in their own superhero movie. Yeah, well, these guys
saves
did.
Money for special effects.
Right, these guys did.
Yeah.
And it's because the movies were being bootlegged is the reason. But the way that the corporation made it look like it was a bank robbery or something. Yeah. They were actually like, wait a minute, this is affecting my profits. Bastards, right? They're not saving the world, they're saving themselves.
Yeah.
Arseholes.
Superheroes that are out for themselves. That's a dangerous fucking thought.
Well, watch it now. It's called The Boys, and you can find it on Amazon Prime or any other place that you illegally watch it.
They should just call it The Tories.
The Tories.
Just out for themselves. Motherfuckers. Anyway, yeah, we done with that one?
Yeah.
That's good, man. I'm looking forward to watching the rest of that.
It's so good.
I'm going to get stuck into it tonight.
Good. Make sure you do.
So, the next thing I'm going to talk about, in fact, you're going to talk about it because I have not a clue. I haven't seen it. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Now, I've seen a few things about this. Now, I know it's Guillermo del Toro. It's his newest venture. Now, his films for me have been really hit or miss. I loved Pan's Labyrinth. I hated Pacific Rim. I loved Hellboy. The first Hellboy. I don't think I liked the second one.
It was alright.
The first Hellboy was really good. And there's another one that's in my mind. Blade 2. He did Blade 2.
Blade 2 wasn't terrible.
Yeah, wasn't terrible. It was alright. But Pacific Rim was really fucking bad.
Specific Rim.
Specific Rim
It
job.
was specifically Rim.
But there is another one of his that I didn't like very much, and I'm trying to I can't remember for the life of me what it is. It'll come back to me. Anyway, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Now, when I first saw trailers for this, I thought it was like going to be a proper horror anthology film. I didn't know that it's basically a kid's book.
Kinda. So,
but
I actually thought it was going to be like a mixture of short stories.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different villains or creepy ghouls in the kids' story. I thought it was going to maybe be, but it wasn't. It's laid out like a movie. So the story obviously is all the way through. Set in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s. So it's set there. One thing I'll say about this movie is it's very. The word I'm looking for is generic.
From such a visionary director like Guillermo del Toro, you'd expect something a lot more.
Yes,
original.
Like, for it being what it is, I'm like, oh, okay, right. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some of the fucking ghouls in it that are scary as fuck. The jump scares are really good. They have you like, oh, when's it gonna happen? When's it gonna happen? When's it gonna happen? And then they still get you, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is that they get locked in this old haunted house when they're out on Halloween night. Actually, I was pissing myself at one point because each year, right? I'll just tell you this wee bit about it. Each year, the kids go trick or treating. So you're following the story through the protagonists that are like geeks at school,
Yeah.
right? They've got the hot sister and the geek and the wee girl geek. So they're like, right, this year they're not getting us. I know exactly how to get them this year. So the jocks that drive about in the car, and each year at the same point, the jocks always drive down the street and they put their hand out and they grab, the sack of trick or treat.
Yeah.
So they know where it's going to get grabbed. So what the guy does is he shits in the toilet and gets like a fish, a fish net.
Yeah.
He's getting his shit out of the toilet, and you see him doing it, right? And he's putting it in this bag, right? So what happens is they're like, right, guys, this is where here they come. So he's like holding his bag, and then the jocks grab the bag and like, way, and hold it up with shit. They're like, what the fuck? So they're like, nah, fuck this, and they go to reverse to get the wee boy, right? The wee geeks. And then the geek's got another bag of shit, and he sets it on fire and throws it in the car window. And the guy's like, ah! Right? I was pissing myself.
Do you know, that's one thing I have to say about you is when you're in a cinema and you find something funny, you do not give a shit.
Mate, I did not give a shit.
You just let rip. I mean, you've heard Kevin laughing on this. His laugh is pretty pronounced. And yeah, he did that when we went to see Predator, when a teenager got killed. Like, when I say teenager, I mean like 13.
That's true.
And he's fucking pissing himself.
That's just the way he died. But I did that at that point. And do you know what's weird though? I was the only one laughing in the cinema.
Again.
Like, why? These boys have got shit thrown all over them in their car, and it causes them to crash. And I'm like, yeah, total, yeah.
You get in there, man.
Aye, so they get out of the car, obviously, and these are older boys, and they've got baseball bats, so they chase the wee geeks into an abandoned house where there's always been that big story about Sarah Bareilles, right? So they go in, and now they're locked downstairs because the geeks have the jerks have locked them in, and she finds the book and she's like, oh, blah blah blah, and she says the words, and no shadows start to appear. Then they get out, and then they go home, and then this lassie's got the book, and what happens is she'll see the book right as it's happening.
Yeah.
But it always tells her the name of what's happening. So if it's like The Toe, so it's like The Toe is the name of the story, and then it'll say, so Jordan was sitting in his podcast room. She's like, fuck, it's about Jordan. Phones up Jordan. Jordan, don't eat a stew. Don't eat the stew. What were you talking about? I can see, and it's being written as the things try to kill him, and each different story has something weird that happens to the character.
I watched a review of it. You ever heard of the Nostalgia Critic?
I think so.
Yeah, it basically, well, I can't remember the guy's real name, but Nostalgia Critic is basically a character he plays, and he picks apart kind of older films, not even that old sometimes, but his catchphrase is, "I remember it, so you don't have to," and it kind of picks films that are deliberately, like, we know that they're kind of bad, and he just tears them to pieces. But this one was just a straight review, and he said that the one thing that he was disappointed by, he said the horror stuff was actually okay. He says, but I did expect it to be more of a horror film. He said, but the one thing that he couldn't get past is the fact that he didn't give a shit about the main characters. He said that they weren't very
lovable.
Yeah, you didn't really feel connected.
I had
to
no
them.
emotional investment in it. I would say that.
Yeah.
I didn't have an emotional investment.
You're just waiting for the scary shit.
Yeah. Also, another thing as well is that it's quite conflicting. Like, I can't tell you because it's for spoiler reasons, okay? But it's conflicting. The way the story pans out as to why this Sarah is doing this, and the way that it ends, you're like, well, that was just one big fucking. What the fuck was the point in that? Stupid. I remember the lights came up after it finished, and I just thought, nah. I thought it was going to be better than what it was. I was kind of expecting more from this.
Yeah.
Just nothing. Do you know? Just while we're on the subject of eerie movies, I watched Sixth Sense when I come home from that movie. Because I always recall Sixth Sense as being like a horror movie. And do you know what? This is the first time I ever went home and watched The Sixth Sense and thought, it's actually such a beautiful movie. Wasn't it even scary? But yet, my perception of that movie has changed since I was a child. When I was a child, I was like, oh, get away from me, it's all got ghosts in that.
Yeah, there's only one or two moments in it that feel like a horror film.
Yeah, but even so, though, like, it's when I watched it, I felt more emotional at it watching it than I did. I did not feel scared at all watching it. But yet, as a child, I'd like get that thing away from me. It's so scary. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the thing is for me, like I can't remember The Sixth Sense like that because when it came out, I was already. I mean, I think I was 15.
I was 9
when it came out, so I was kind of.
It came out 20 years ago, mate.
Yeah, scary.
20 years ago. I was 9.
So,
No, I was 8. I was 8.
So it was kind of getting. I was getting to the age where I wasn't as bothered by things like that as I used to be. So I think I've always seen it more the way you see it now.
Thing is, though, it is a deep movie, and I think as a child I ignored all the stuff that goes on within it. Right, so the more you understand the character, Bruce Willis's character, he feels like a failure. He feels like everybody around him feels he's a failure. He failed someone, and he wants to prove that he's still able to help. He wants to make up for that one that he lost. Right, and with the child, he's dealing with his own shit from all ends. He can't speak to the woman he loves because he doesn't want her to look at him differently. That's his mum.
Mm-hmm.
He deals with seeing ghosts. He's petrified. He has no one there to help him, right? But when it all comes full circle towards the end, and he starts realising, well, wait a minute, I've got a gift. I need to use it to help these people that have passed. Helps these people, and then the part right at the end where his mum doesn't believe him, and then he talks about what his gran had said to him.
Mm-hmm.
Good, mate.
Yeah,
really good.
You know, I've got a little bugbear with The Sixth Sense, and it's the fact that I never got to experience it the way I should have.
Because you already probably... yeah, that's right, it was ruined for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, my fucking arsehole oldest brother came home from the cinema and told me the twist. It was I said, how was the film? So, it was good, can I tell you one bit? It's like, yeah, Bruce Willis is a ghost. I was like, are you fucking kidding me, man? Even when he told me, I didn't know that was such a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's the whole thing. It's the whole film is ruined by knowing that one single fact.
Yeah.
So,
and do you know what's funny though? See when you rewatch it, it's all there.
All the signs are all there. Yeah.
It's always been signs there. I like what you just did there. All the signs are
are
there in that M. Night Shyamalan movie.
So, what's your general feelings on Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
See it because it could be fun. But it's not something you'll watch again and again and again and go, do you remember when they released Scary Stories in the Dark? How great was that, man? It won't be like when you say they remade it, let's watch it.
Yeah.
It won't be that same, for me anyway. Just I won't have that, here we must watch Scary Stories in the Dark, I must get it on DVD. Mm-hmm. But it definitely was.
That's a decent little segue into the next part where we...
Exactly, that's the reason I said it.
We talk about It Chapter 2 is coming out this week, I believe.
Yes, it
I think it comes out on the 6th. I'll be going to see it this coming weekend.
As will I.
Now, it might already be out by the time this podcast comes out. Probably will. So, yeah, let us know what you think of it on our community page. Mm-hmm. I'm very much looking forward to it. Some reviews have come out about it. They're kind of mixed. Some people say that it's good. Other people are saying it's kind of lame. Some people say it's scary, other people say it's not. It's the one reason that I genuinely think that most of the time there's no point in listening to critics. If you want to see something, go see it. Because a critic doesn't... they don't follow a rule book. It's completely subjective. What they're watching, they're just deciding for themselves if they like it or not. Now, you could get a critic that'll go and see Trainspotting and say it's one of the worst films ever made. Mm-hmm. A critic sitting next to him would go and see it and say it's one of the best films he's ever seen.
Yep.
So it's completely subjective. There's no point in listening to critics, especially when it comes to horror movies. The horror movies they're generally panned by critics anyway.
Just a wee bit.
Yeah. So I'm very much still looking forward to it. It's going to be 2 3/4 hours long, man. That's between that and the first one. Mm-hmm. That's nearly 6 hours of movie time.
That's great,
which is more like it because
story development.
The book's a big book.
Yeah, true.
And it means that they can delve a bit further into the details that were missed in the miniseries.
Maybe
in 1990.
not all of them though, right?
No, fucking definitely not all of them. Fucking kid orgies. Why did he put that in there?
I don't know. Maybe he's got a sick fancy.
I know it's Stephen King. The guy's a bit of a fucking weirdo, but
I mean, the dad does kind of make reference to it in the new one.
Right.
You know, by you little slut.
Yeah, kind of. So, but the trailer looks good. Apparently, Bill Hader completely steals the movie.
Mate, do you know what? He's so underrated. He actually is so underrated.
he's not even been around for that long either.
I know.
Do you know he worked as a PA on Collateral Damage
Did he?
with Schwarzenegger? He was Arnold Schwarzenegger's PA. He told stories about it on Conan or something. Conan or fucking Kimmel, I can't remember which one. But I mean that wasn't even that long ago in the grand scheme of things.
No, I've liked him for some time now.
The first thing I seen him in was Superbad, and I thought he was brilliant in that.
It's good in what's it called, Trainwreck.
I haven't seen that yet.
It's with Amy Schumer. I know you're not a big fan of hers, but he's really good.
Amy McJokestealer.
He's really good.
Yeah, so apparently he steals the show. Everybody else is pretty decent
James
as
McAvoy.
well. I love James McAvoy. The thing I love about it is the casting of the adults, comparing them to the kids, is pretty fucking good.
It's really accurate.
Especially when it comes to Bill Hader, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he was in Sinister. He played Officer So and So. I don't know if you remember that, but he plays Eddie as an older guy, and if you look at Eddie as the young kid next to this guy, you could swear it's the same fucking person.
That's brilliant. I think a lot of studios could learn a lot from remaking movies by how they've done it with it.
Yeah.
If they start that trend and keep that up, like they've done it with Pet Sematary. Have you watched that yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Watch it.
The thing is, what they need to do when they're doing remakes is not just rehash the old, it's to expand on it and change things. Not too many things. I think if you change something
The
too
gender.
much, yeah, fuck off.
Fuck
man.
that.
Fucking nonsense. So I think that if you're going to do a good remake, you have to expand on the original movie. And a lot of these films, they were made too soon. Like they were made before we really had the ability to make them properly.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the problems that It had. Like if you watch the original It now, to me it's like an episode of Goosebumps. I've said this before. It's so lame, so lame, and the special effects with the spider at the end, fuck off. It's so bad. It's like you watch it and go, I can't believe I was scared by this.
Yeah, they have done really well in regards to what they've done with it.
Yeah. So if they continue to remake horrors like that, I'll be quite happy. I'm still looking forward to seeing Child's Play. I know you're not.
It's only because the last couple of installments have been fucking gash.
Well, that's the whole point. This is going back to basics and basically starting from scratch, as Chris Rock is doing with Saw.
Chris Rock?
Chris Rock has remade Saw.
Why would you remake Saw?
Let's see what he does with it, because Saw got really silly. The first Saw was fucking fantastic. Second one I didn't like very much. Third one started getting really daft, and then it just went off the fucking track. The first one was a great psychological horror thriller.
That's true.
The second one, torture porn. It just
it did become
the rest
torture
of them are just torture porn. The first one had a brain, and the rest of them just they basically dumbed down the longer they went on. I mean, there was twists and turns kind of here and there. In fact, everywhere. But it got to the point where you're going, oh, just fucking hurry up and die. And then he died, and then they still made more. It's like, but we still kept going to see them. I don't know what it is, but
it's the torture porn.
Let's see what Chris Rock can do with that one.
I just think it's too soon.
Possibly. But like I said, I'm willing to give it a blast.
I've learned a lot to just don't pan something until you see it. So I will do that.
Speaking of Saw, I'm actually just going to mention something quickly before we move on to our next bit of movie news. We, the Jibber Jabber podcast and friends, are heading down to Manchester again. You might remember we went down for the Love of Sci-Fi convention back in December of 2018. We're now going down to For the Love of Horror on the 17th, 18th of October. I think that's the right dates. Tickets are still available for it. Now, what we have For the Love of Horror, as well as the usual kind of setup with conventions, we'll have there will be cosplay and stalls and all that, and there will be guests. Now, the guest list for this is pretty cool. We have a Lost Boys reunion, and when I say reunion, I mean it's a fucking reunion.
All of them.
Kiefer Sutherland is going to be there. Alex Winter is going to be there. So is the rest of them. Corey Feldman's not going to be there. Apparently for obvious reasons. I'd like to know what those obvious reasons are.
Yeah.
Because that was a strange bit of wording, but we'll see if I can find out some goss on that.
Yeah.
I love recording a podcast and somebody's pumping a fucking bike tyre up outside. I'll just let you all take that in for a minute. You like that? You happy with that?
Just imagine it's a swing. The sound effect of a swing.
A
in an
sex swing.
in an empty dark park.
So yeah, we are going down to For the Love of Horror, and we're very much looking forward to it, as well as the Lost Boys reunion. We've got Tobin Bell, who played Jigsaw, John Kramer, in the Saw films, and the lassie,
the chick and the
whose
guy.
name I can never remember.
She's the wee
Shawnee Smith.
That's her. And who's the dude that was all in on it the whole time?
Costas Mandalore, I think
Mate,
is his
look
name.
at you, mate.
I'm impressed with myself.
Wait, look at you.
So we've got that. We've also got Sid Haig, who is Captain Spaulding from The Devil's Rejects
Yes.
and House of a Thousand Corpses,
Yes.
stuff like that. So we've got him. We've Kane Hodder, fucking Kane,
Mate,
man.
in full costume.
Yeah, in his full Jason Voorhees costume. That's
That will be outstanding, because I have watched fucking Friday the 13th all back to front since I was a child. Loved Jason movies. Maybe they got a bit silly towards the end, but they always get silly towards the end, folks. Look
Yeah.
at any great horror series that get silly towards the end. The original cast of It are going to be there, bar Tim Curry, because he can't move.
yeah. I saw a picture of him recently, and it made me sad.
I know, because he's an absolute fucking legend.
Even like past it, I mean, look at Home Alone and Rocky Horror. The guy's a fucking legend. So but yeah, he had a bad stroke back in 2012, I think. So he's not in a very good way. So like I said, other than that, it'll be the usual convention stuff, but tickets are still available. You'll get them at monopolyevents.com,
Yes.
I'm assuming.
You can get Ticketmaster, anywhere that you basically get tickets. Just Google For the Love of Horror or Monopoly Events and you will find everything you seek there. Also make sure that when we're down there on the 19th and 20th of October,
Did I get the dates wrong?
of course you did, I didn't
Fuck.
correct you, but on the 19th and 20th when we go down, you told them the one for Edinburgh, which is not confirmed for us yet, but
I must have got that wrong as well then.
maybe. So basically, when we're down there, we will be doing live streams. We have a hell of a camera guy joining us, Big Seb. More to come on Seb soon, and he's going to be literally documenting everything we get up to perfectly, the way it should have been done previously. So it's going to be amazing. You guys are going to enjoy everything we have, and if you have any requests, you won't obviously be there if you're not there. Tell us what you'd like us to show you. Tell us what you'd like to see from us, and we'll make that happen as we go down.
Apologies for the background noise. Some people don't understand that garage doors are fucking thin.
That's life, mate. We're as raw and unplugged as possible. Isn't that right?
That is 100% right. So yeah, get yourself down to For the Love of Horror on the 19th and 20th of October.
Because it's going to be an absolute scream. Yeah. It's not going to be a laugh, but you know what was a laugh and was quite funny? The new Dave Chappelle Netflix series.
Yeah, like I said to you earlier on, I don't think it's the funniest stand-up show I've ever seen, but it's certainly the fucking bravest in this day and age.
Aye.
It is brave. He basically gets torn into everything you're just not allowed to talk about anymore. If you're easily offended, I'm assuming you're not listening to this, so fuck you. And if you're not easily offended, definitely watch this.
Yes.
He goes right for the jugular on so many issues. But there's one joke I need to tell you. I've told it to Kevin already, and it just made me smile so much. He said he was in Iowa or something, and he parked his car in an alley before going into a comedy club, and he said it's like, this white junkie woman comes over to me. She's like, "Hey man, I'll suck your dick for $5, man." I was like, "Ew, $2." Oh, it was funny, but I mean that's one of the kind of tamer jokes. The rest of it is pretty fucking full on. So make sure you watch that, and also if you do watch it, continue watching until after the credits.
I didn't.
There's a 20-minute hidden section.
Is there?
Yeah, where he's basically doing a Q&A. People get to ask him questions about anything they want, and he'll answer it. And he tells a cool story about Barack Obama as well. So 20 minutes, man. 20 minutes of a hidden feature on a Netflix special. That's something that's going to become more commonplace, I think.
That'd be great.
So, yeah, it is funny. It's definitely, it will make you laugh. Now, the title of the next film might suggest that you'd laugh at it, but from what I hear, it's no laughing matter. We have Joker with Joaquin Phoenix.
Mate.
Now, this film it's been in the works for quite a long time, and it had the same kind of, what, Joaquin Phoenix playing the Joker? What the fuck? You know, that kind of stuff. The trailer, the full final trailer was released yesterday or the day before, I think. Obviously not now, because you're listening to this way down the line. But it doesn't look like the type of film we were expecting. It looks really gritty, dark, more like a good kind of dramatic character study of the Joker, whose name's Arthur Fleck in this. Now, I always thought it was Jack Napier. Now, I might be wrong. That might just be from the first Batman film, the Michael Keaton one. But if somebody knows what the Joker's real name is, let me know. But this guy's called Arthur Fleck. Played, I mean, it looks like Joaquin Phoenix is doing a stellar job. He lost 50 odd pounds to play the Joker as well. You see him with his top off, it's like Christian Bale in the fucking Machinist.
Oh.
It's not quite that caliber, but he's getting there. It just played at the Venice Film Festival.
Yeah.
This was actually posted on our community page by Kyle Newton. Yeah, what's the middle name of it? Like Kairu or something?
Kyle is a free spirit. Sometimes he just puts names in there.
Alrighty.
It'll make sense to him.
That's fine. So Kyle Newton, he posted to our community page that it just screened at the Venice Film Festival, and it got an 8-minute standing ovation.
Wow.
8 fucking minutes.
Wow. I mean, that's sore clapping.
That's
for a minute.
That's a shitload of clapping. Like,
I know.
That's a heavy dose of the clap.
Again, something Kyle might know about. I'm only joking, Kyle. I'm only joking. I shared a flat with Kyle, and I can vouch he's not got the clap.
Did he not pass it on to you then?
No. I'm only joking. That's a gay joke.
Can't do that. Can't do that these days.
I'm not into that, mate.
So yeah, it looks like it's something to watch out for. Its IMDb rating is currently 9.7.
What the fuck?
It will come down. It will over time.
When the snowflakes get to it.
You know, it's awful violent. No shit. Fucking. But apparently it is really pretty violent and disturbing. So, but the trailer doesn't really show that side of it. The trailer really just shows you the character side of it and shows you that he's a bit unhinged and blah blah blah. But you don't see any particularly nasty stuff in the trailer. Now, very much looking forward to it. As you know, not a big superhero guy, but this isn't a superhero film, is it?
Super villain, isn't it?
But he's not even a super villain. He's just a villain. He's just that good that he's so good a villain that he's a good nemesis for a superhero. But Batman's not even really a superhero.
It's true, he's just a vigilante.
Yeah, he's just a guy that's got money for gadgets. So
it's true, eh?
Yeah,
nobody spoiled.
Yeah,
spoiled little bitch.
That's why the whole Batman versus Superman thing is a steaming hot pile of piss.
Yeah, even when he's kicking Superman's head in, it's like, what?
I don't think so, buddy. So, on the subject of violence, apparently, Rambo, Last Blood.
Hey, I'm gonna take my horse on the old damn road. I mean, what's that all about? Why is that in a trailer?
He's clearly living on his family ranch. He's kicking about on a horse. But it's got its hard R rating, which is fucking awesome because, again, the trailer doesn't really give away too much in regards to the violence. Now, I don't know if you remember the Red Band trailer for the last Rambo film that came out back in 2008. That trailer showed some nasty shit. We knew what we were in for with that. And what I was worried about when the Last Blood trailer came out, it obviously didn't really look as bad. So I was wondering if he had Expendables in it and toned it down to maybe get a 12A, 15, but he fucking hasn't. And that's something to really look forward to. I mean, it's called Last Blood. You would think that's going to be the last one, but Stallone said it again. Never say never. So
Last Blood Part 2.
I know it's called Last Blood. Fucking enough.
I know.
Enough.
I know. Does look good though. I mean,
he's also announced Rocky fucking 7.
Like, what's that all about?
What's he going to be fighting? The urge to pee during the night.
The urge to pee. Aye, fucking who knows, man. That's why would you even, just calm down with the Rocky stuff.
I mean, it's not like he's flogging a dead horse. I mean, people still want to see these things, but
Yeah,
it's like surely that you have to show the character some respect as well, and just sometimes it's time to let them rest. So I think we're there with Rocky. Rambo, we said it before the last one came out. It's like, fuck, he's too old. He clearly was not too old.
No,
that last Rambo film was fantastic. I fucking loved it.
It was.
And if this one is anywhere near as good as that, I'll be a happy camper.
We should go together to see it.
Yeah, we should. We will.
We will.
We will. I was going to say I'm going to see it with you, but I'm going to see that with my wife because she
Same.
wants to see it as well.
Same.
We actually rewatched the first one the other day.
Mate, did
because
she
we
cry,
went to see
shit herself, and laugh at the same time?
it. No.
No.
She did get a good number of frights though, I remember.
Aye.
But there was stuff she was like, I don't remember this. Don't remember that bit. It's like, were you covering your fucking face for most of the film? So, yeah, that's there's a good few things coming out we've got to look forward to. And the final thing we're going to talk about, I'm actually going to let Kevin take the reins on this one. He probably knows more about it than me. Is the Matrix.
Yes. So it's been announced that the Matrix will be returning to the big screen with Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss and Big Larry Fishburne.
Big Larry.
Right? Here's something for you though. Trinity is dead. Obviously not. Neo sucked into the system. We had closure with the last one, kinda. Even though the Oracle, is that her name?
Yeah.
She literally says right at the end, I have a feeling you'll see him again. Very well. What? How many years later we see Neo? And if they're bringing back the Matrix, it has to be for more than just one movie. For what the kind of story is, you can't just have them all come back and disappear or have closure in one movie. I just can't see it.
We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, I huge fan of the first Matrix films.
Oh man.
Sorry, the first Matrix film. The sequel.
Second wasn't that great. The third one was alright.
Nah, man. As far as I'm concerned, the sequels can go fuck themselves. We didn't need them.
They didn't. That's true.
We honestly didn't need it. It was a good standalone movie, and it just got up its own arse. And again, I was talking about films that were made too early. Even those could have fallen victim to that because some of the special effects are really shitty looking now. Not in the first one. First one still pretty much holds up, apart from that fucking thing that goes inside his belly button. That looks horrendous.
But I watched it not too long ago.
Most of it is actually pretty good. But yeah, so we'll have another Matrix film on the way. I mean, that's him. He's revisiting the Matrix.
Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted 3. It's finished. They've finished filming it, which is probably how Alex Winter is able to come to For the Love of Horror on the 19th and 20th of October. Get your tickets.
We'll need to ask him a bit about Bill and Ted.
Oh, of course. We should be getting some decent time with these people, so we can ask away. So I'm looking forward to that. I love the idea behind the story. Like, the story is that obviously the original story is that these two guys write a song that saves the fucking universe, and they're now in their 50s and haven't done it yet. It's a great idea. It's like, could you imagine knowing that you're going to write a song that's going to save the universe, and you get to like your 50s and go, fuck, I've not done it. Like, remember the feeling when you hadn't done your homework on Sunday night? Imagine doing that, but you've got to save the universe. That's cool. I'm really looking forward to it. And Keanu Reeves is just a fucking legend.
He is.
Legendary guy.
I think it's impossible to dislike Keanu Reeves.
No, I mean, you can dislike him as an actor sometimes. He has done some pretty shoddy work, but he's also done some fucking excellent work. Like, did you see Knock Knock?
It was rotten, mate. What the fuck was that?
He couldn't emote.
No, he couldn't.
There was a bit where he was trying to act all terrified. I think he was buried up to his neck.
What the?
He totally phoned it in.
Yeah.
Totally phoned that in. And as much as I love the film Point Break, Man, there's some fucking hammy lines in that one. I am an FBI agent! His name's Johnny Utah.
What the fuck, man?
Fucking great name. So, there's still a lot coming, a lot to look forward to. Haven't heard much else about the Masters of the Universe film that's coming out. That seems to be on a bit of a back burner at the
A lot
minute.
of people aren't really big on that.
It's Top Gun, Maverick. Spoke about it in a previous show, but that's still to come. Very much looking forward to that. I think that's where we're at this week. Now, like I said, we should be really constant with these shows. Not constant, consistent. Constant's a different thing. Fucking idiot. So, keep on downloading. Get yourself onto Podbean. Please use Podbean if you can, because that's it's the best one for us, because we can really gauge how many people are listening, and you can interact with us, tell us what you like and what you don't.
We can also use these stats to pull some leverage and get paid, and then if we get paid, it means we'll put more money into the podcast, which means you guys get better stuff, like bigger guests and stuff.
And a second microphone.
But yeah, you know, listen to the show wherever you can, obviously, which is more convenient for you. But if you do it on Podbean, fucking YI, mate, thanks.
Yep. So thanks again for listening. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your pets,
say your prayers,
motherfuckers,
and never ever fart in someone's face, because you will give them pink eye, and then no one's happy.
And we won't be back
after this.
See ya.
A long, long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there was an awful laddie called Darth Vader. Now, no matter what you thought, he'd done bloody well for himself. He'd left the scale at only 15-year-old, and he got an apprenticeship with Rebel Alliance, where he was time-served and trained under Obi-Wan Kenobi. Incidentally, Obi-Wan Kenobi's brother Jurdy, he the butcher shop in Kinross. Well, only after 3 years he got paid off. I says, well, dinna worry, because I can't a boy that can't a boy. I says, phone this number, and he phoned the boy up. And it was the evil emperor of the evil Galactic Empire, because they're a depot in Kirkcaldy. And he says, right, be in my yard Monday morning. Well, they started him on the lorries, and then they put him through his welding course. That's why he always has to wear the mask.